Because it's just a regular stitch on that.
Do you change the stitch to, no, not to
The
5?
only time you change to 5 when you're doing a basing stitch or you do a gather stitch.
I see. I think we're getting it mixed up.
Because last week you did your gather.
Yeah, we did.
Oh no, first this 1/4 and then we did.
So basically, in
That'll be
half
fine, and then Daniel comes on.
so basically we do 1 more. You do just half.
So now,
I think you're right.
I got both of the sleeve, right? Yeah, both of your sleeve done. Make sure you turn inside out. Make your seams is inside.
Look at you, little mister.
So when we sew, you want us to sew on the back side so we can flip it up?
Whichever side. Oh, you can flip it over first. I just happen to think you just, you can flip it later. You can flip it in the back. So now you're gonna set in the sleeve to the armhole.
It's on the board.
And then what you want to do is look for your notch. Your front is single, your back is double. So here I have a double notch here. I want to find my armhole. So here is the back of my bodice, the back of my sleeve. This go together. Okay. So then I'll turn it this way. And you have your sleeve, the sleeve seam match up with your side seam.
Now, if this is like the basic bodice, does that mean that there needs to be a lining in it, or is that the lining itself?
This is just, the basic bodice is just a fit. So it just depends on your design. Some design have lining. If like a better wear garment, you want a better quality. Wool, you don't normally wear wool on your skin, they will line it. So the cap of your sleeve goes the shoulder of the bodice. So normally I always line up the sleeve seam to the side seam, the cap of the sleeve to the shoulder. Then I will look for my notches to back, and then front to front. And then the ease should fit, should be flat. Did I stop you? It's okay. Thanks. So now,
Is this inside out?
kind of. It's under here. Just make sure you're right side.
Okay. Got it.
Now we're gonna sew in a circle, 1/2 inch seam allowance. And I start at the underarm or the side seam area. You guys, I know you guys have problems. Some people trying to record this is really hard for the people that is trying to record. Thank you.
And that's 1/2 inch?
Yeah, 1/2 inch around the armhole.
And we backstitch on this one too?
Yeah, you can backstitch just a little bit, and then later on I'll overlap it.
Okay.
Then to be safe that they don't really. So trying to make sure that there's not too much puckering around the ease area, and take your finger to smooth out best you can on the ease. Somehow I feel like there's a lot of ease on my sleeve.
Bless you.
And I always try to keep the sleeve side that I can see where the crimping is, in case there's a pleat, there's extra fabric, you can try to smooth it out. The sleeve should not have any extra pleating at all.
just kind of smooth it out as
you're sewing it. And your hand can smooth the fabric out.
But you don't want to pull.
You don't want any pleat at all in your armhole. Unless you purposely put a lot of gather in, you know, but having one little one does not look good.
But I mean, like that part of it, you don't want to pull on it because then the gathers will
Yeah, if you need to just a light smoothing them, but it should not have a whole bunch of gathers. It should be like smooth and with no gather. So once it's done, okay. Now, the next step is your hem. So you should be able to find, there's notches on these, remember? So there's a first one and a second one. And then there's a third one. So you fold on the second one, right in the middle. You fold that. That's why we have notches. It tells you where to fold. Because this is like a cuff. So you're gonna fold that, and it looks like I don't know, 2.5 some inches. You should have it on your, just follow your pattern where your notch is at. So the whole thing, like this, should have fold. Should be even, same height.
Quick question, is it easier to hem first before sewing on the sleeve?
You could, yeah, you could do it. Yeah, you could hem it first if you like. In the industry, they have different departments. So one person could be hemming everything, and the next person could be
Sewing.
Yeah. So it just, but because we're making everything ourselves. Now, what you're gonna do is you're gonna sew a quarter stitch right on this raw edge, and then see, I turn it over so I can turn. Now turn it back so I can stitch.
Oh.
Quarter inch at the hem. Now the only thing is I'm just gonna flip this up and we're gonna iron, and this is a cup.
Oh, pretty.
That's how
So, do we do that after before we put it in?
you can do, because I want to prepare, so you guys don't have to watch me do two of
Right.
them. So I show you how to do an armhole, I show you how to do a hem.
Okay.
But whichever step
It's easier.
is easier
Okay.
for you.
Okay.
So now the next step here is fold. Whatever your hem is, I think it's 1.5 or something. And then you iron really well to get the cuff. And then the only thing you're gonna do is you're gonna stitch this down. And that's how all the clothes are done. And then you just really good ironing to keep the cuff in place. Same thing like you cuffing a pair of pants, a guy's pants, in that way. So
iron them stitch.
Iron them and then stitch. Stitch in the ditch. Do we remember? Did I? No? Anybody know what stitch in the ditch is? You stitch right in the middle of the seam, so you don't see it. And I would do somewhere about 4 or 5 stitches, 1/2 inch, and just back and forth. That's it. It's right in the ditch. You can't really see it. It's right under the arm. And that's it. And so good ironing is going to keep the cuff the way it is. And the reason it won't come down because you already stitched it in place. And then that's how, once you finish everything, it will be this side. It's going to be Peter Pan color. And then it's going to have a collar. Okay? So this whole thing is due next week. for sewing. And because now we're getting into more sewing complete garments.
So we would
So
do
there's
the,
no sample sewing this week.
so we would do the bottom sleeve